Hey everybody, Shavvo here, and I'm going to bring you another 1v1 match. Now this is the first game I have played in Beta Phase 2. That's right, I said Beta Phase 2. StarCraft is now in its second phase of beta. It is back up and running, and I couldn't be more thrilled. Now this is going to be on the map Metalopolis, and I'm the red Zerg, spawning down here on the bottom, against Revolution, the blue Protoss, spawning up here at the top. Now, as you can see, both of us are extremely rusty, as we are not doing too well to begin with. Now, APM I tend to spam, but I keep my APM up pretty much throughout the whole game. And this is on the map Metalopolis. I think I already mentioned that. And they made a few subtle changes to just some of the map features and BattleNet features and whatnot, and I really like it. I think it's cool. For one, I don't know why they did this, but they made these little Zeldnaga watchtowers look like little eyes. So in the middle, I immediately noticed this. It looks like a little mad frowny face. There's a little, smile, and then the two eyes, and then the little eyebrows up over there. So I don't know why they did that, but I think that was pretty darn funny. So I'm going ahead and I'm sending out my first scouting probe or drone over here just to try and see what's going on. And looks like Revolution has sent his scouting probe just a hair earlier than mine, but I was lucky in that I found him right off the bat, and I saw that he was getting a gateway but not much else, and he went straight for a gas over here after the gateway. So I don't know what he was planning on doing there, and I'm getting my spawning pool at 14, and I went ahead and I make the 15 drone, and I'm going to go ahead and fast expand. Now I'm doing a little bit of harassment over here to where I'll build an extractor, and just before it builds or gets close to being built, I'll cancel it and start rebuilding it again so he can't make his extractor, but I still have the option to cancel it. So let's go ahead and look at that real quick, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Cancel it, and then I'll just start building it right away. That way he just can't do it, and I won't be out that amount of minerals. So I've got my fast expansion coming up over here, and my spawning pool is already out. I'm getting my 3 pairs of Zerglings coming out as well, and I've got my extractor going on. So it's pretty even so far on the noob level, as we're making tons of mistakes over here. I don't know if you noticed earlier, but I had a drone just kind of chilling out, hanging out, not really doing too much. And I went ahead and sent my Zerglings over here to kind of just take out this assimilator before he could get any real harassment value out of it. And he's just keeping his little probe right here in the front just to kind of check out and see what's going on. I'm continuing to rebuild this extractor over here on his gas, or his Vespene gas geyser. And he's not really doing too much. He's just building tons of zealots out of one gateway, and he's going straight for cybernetics core. And I did see that as I decided to go ahead and scout out a little bit just to see what he was doing. And I've got about 8 Zerglings out here so far, about 10, 11. Got my queen out here, and she's doing the spawn larva. Let's look at the income so far. Now, income-wise, it looks like Revolution at this current point in time is ahead of me. He has 17 harvesters, but I'm slowly catching up to him as I'm at 15 right now. But he is definitely dominating the economy as of right now at 600 to my 450 or so. So he's doing pretty good, and I'm actually lagging a little bit behind. He's getting his second gateway out here, and I am just now researching the metabolic boost. So I'm starting to saturate my mineral field on my expansion a little bit more, and trying to get a little bit more saturation on my main, as I did transfer some drones over, and now we're pretty much dead even as far as harvesters go, but he is still a little bit ahead of me as far as gas. And I didn't put another gas geyser down right away, as I was focusing mainly on the Zerglings just to do a bit of harassment and see what he's got. So I got my queen going on over here, and she is doing the spawn larva, and I'm just now morphing into a lair, and that's about the time where I go ahead and get my second extractor. So I'm not really doing too well. I'm a little rusty as far as my build orders, as far as just keeping everything going. Unit wise, looks like Revolution has 5 zealots and 1 sentry, and I have 18 Zerglings and 1 Queen, so I've got 18 Speedlings rather. I'm going to go ahead and send them over there and do a little bit of harassment. So I've got this one extractor built, but I'm not really mining anything from it as of yet because I am just kind of fail still. And it looks like I caught him just as he was doing his expansion, so I was able to stop that. Then I kind of pushed up the ramp just to see what he had, and I noticed that he had a few zealots up there, and I wasn't going to be able to get through, so I just kind of pulled back. So at this point I decided to go ahead and start doing banelings because I noticed that he was going a little bit heavy on the zealots, so I wanted to get some banelings in there just to kind of soften up the zealots for my Zerglings. And you know, just to get that little bit of an advantage. And I'll go ahead and operating off of 3 extractors now, so I'm going to get that good gas going in there. And I went ahead and checked again to see if he was building another expansion, and he was not, because I guess he figured that I was going to be there anyway, so he best not do that as of yet, and he's just going to build up a little bit more forces and then kind of push out. So I'm going ahead and morphing in some banelings, and I'm getting some more Zerglings going on over here, and I finally got my Hydralisk in out here, and I'm making my first Hydralisk, making about 2 Hydralisks actually. I'm going over here and I'm constantly checking to see if he has an expansion. That way, if he does, I can try and snipe it again. And I'm really containing him here, and that was my intent rather, is to just contain him, keep him on one base so I can have that economy going. And looking at the economy, I'm actually now very far ahead of him. I have 30 harvesters, 2 is 24, and I'm about double as far as the gas goes, and about the same as far as the minerals go. So I send my banelings up there, I take out a few of the zealots, soften up the rest of them, and almost take out his warp gate over there. So pretty decent harassment. I'm going ahead and morphing in some more banelings just to see if I can soften some more units up there. And let's see what else I've got going on here. Not too much over here. I'm a little bit fail on the macro because I didn't really put too many drones up in here, so I needed to kind of do a little bit more on that. Sending a few more banelings just to kind of soften him up. I took out the rest of his remaining zealots, but he's still able to push in a pretty decent force to where he doesn't have to, you know, pull back or cancel his expansion. But luckily I have my reinforcing forces over here just kind of waiting and seeing what we can do. And I'm making a few more banelings out of here because I wanted to kind of just soften it up, kind of take out any zealots that he had over there, and then have my speedlings do a little bit of a harassment or a surround rather, and get my Hydralisk in the back to where they can just, you know, start shooting the units. So I got my Overlord speed here is done. I'm bringing Overlord over there so they can just start dropping creep, and I didn't even notice that he had an observer over here kind of sending out, so he did see that, and I went ahead and pushed in, trying to get a good surround on there. And I got my banelings in there, and they softened up whatever he had as far as zealots, and my speedlings are pretty much taking out his stalkers while my Hydralisks are backing him up. And I'm going to be able to take out his forces, but he does have enough warp gates to where he can warp in a pretty decent amount of troops. But I am reinforcing with some more Hydralisks. I'm bringing in a whole bunch more Hydralisks. I'm just trying to hold out while my Hydralisks, so my Hydralisks can come in here. And I'm bringing my Overlord in here so they can start dropping the creep, and I can get that little speed advantage going over there. So it brings in his 2 stalkers, and my Hydralisk are pretty easily able to take that out, although if he had focused this one down, he would have been able to take out the rest of them. And I've got my reinforcing Hydras coming in, so I have a pretty sizable force as of right now, and he's not doing so hot as he is a little bit low on the gas, which is pretty much my intent. I wanted to keep him on one base, and I was doing that extractor trick just to kind of keep him to where he didn't get that much gas. So we pretty much called it GG over there as he realized that he wasn't going to be able to beat my force as right there. And I had some reinforcing Zerglings over there, and we did a little bit of chatter because this is the first game that I played, and I think this is the first game that he played too. I have no idea who this guy is, but we were both pretty ecstatic that the beta is back up and running. So I'm going to bring a whole bunch more games to you now that the beta is up and running. I'm going to be doing a few more Zerg perspectives here, and I'm going to try to get a little bit more practical examples going in of some of the strategies that I've laid out in the first 2 episodes there involving speedlings and banelings and whatnot. So stay tuned. Hope you enjoyed this commentary. There will be tons more to come.